Okay. Um, I'm gonna start off with this thing that I say all the time. First of all, thank you God for everything. Unfortunately, things are so changed in my brain. Uh, you know, it's crazy. Every manipulation you can imagine is experienced by me. But what is sometimes frustrating is to see people who are trying to counter that. They really want to gaslight me into accepting these manipulations. This is how these governmental entities have created this program because as you're being manipulated, there are people who are doing their best to get you to believe that these manipulations are happening. They're not happening. They're just you experience this as natural and try to get you to feel guilty for how you're forced to experience things. So it's part of this manipulations. It seems like that not only you're being manipulated, but then there's people who are really doing their part to try to make you believe this. And everywhere you go, you have people who try to make you believe now it's you, and it's just disgusting. Because I'm like, I make it as obvious as it gets that this is no way that this can naturally happen. I went on a date. It's funny. I go on dates with people who I know are perps, and that's because I enjoy the company of women. It, it's something that I do truly enjoy. But those women are perps, and I go to these restaurants, and we're by the windows. And so what happened is my peripheral sees people coming on this back and forth. I can see people. I can't really tell exactly who these people are, but I can see like the height and some of the little bit of their features, right? Just a little bit of it. And what happened is if somebody is a child, if it's actually a child, they stimulate me. Somebody who could be a child, they stimulate me, or they create perceptions. And it was just annoying. It's like I'm talking to you, but just because I saw this person there, they start creating perception. For example, you happen to like even there will be like a child. I'm having a conversation with this person, talking to her, and you can see people walking, right? At my peripheral, I'm not focusing on them, but I'm looking at the person in front of me. But you still see what's going on this side, right? You see my hand. You can still see like what's happening to me. I'm focusing on there, but I can see what's happening here because my peripherals are still there and they can really make you focus on things. So even if you're just looking away, just because it's within your peripheral, this technology can manipulate you to have a glimpse of what's in your peripheral. It's crazy. And it's a lot of manipulation. So I'm having a conversation, and out of nowhere, boom, I'm getting a perception of somebody walking by, and one point is just somebody. I swear, I could not even see enough to tell what I saw was real. It looked like somebody who's like a teenager, but they made me have this like perception of this teenager's breast, like they were bigger or something like that, something sexual. I don't know if what I saw was really real, and I doubt it's real. This is what they usually do. When things are blurred, that's when they can play with my perceptions. That's when they can mess with me. And so I'm like, there's no way. This is just too obvious. Now listen, I'm not a perfect person. I look at women in sexual ways if they're appealing. I'm not. I'm never gonna be like, oh, I'm just saying no. I can tell when somebody's I'm being forced to have perception, and it's impossible from this range to like have that much in this like glimpse. It's just like crazy, and it's just like, listen, I don't know if that's truly a child or teenager or whatever, but I could. It felt like he was a teenager, but at the same time, it looked like her chest was like she was showing some cleavage or something like that. I don't know if it's true, but I know my brain can be manipulated to see things in other ways. I can't really tell you what she looked like. I can tell she could be Hispanicish, and that's it. And they would try to make me accept this, and you hear this bottom feels contracted by these pedophiles to try to make you accept this. It's too obvious. But for me, I don't identify. This is why I wear a body cam. Because reality and what's the way things are going in my head is two different things. In my brain, they can create perceptions. They can create ways of perceiving these kids, especially when it's just like, if it's a blur. So I see somebody pass by, and then also, why am I seeing this person having like big breasts? And it's probably because it's a kid, and they want me to have this perception toward this kid. And I'm on a date, I'm talking to somebody, like we're having like in conversation, and out of nowhere, boom, like my peripheral sees something, and they try to create this person to have sexual like curves, and that's probably because it's a kid, a teenager of some sort. And then this bottom feeders, their job is to get you to accept this. Like, nah, girls, we mapped it. Try to make you believe that anything else is happening, but you're not being altered. Your brain is not being altered to perceive things in this sexual way. That's what they do. Like I said, at one point, I glimpsed at a plastic bag. The plastic bag turned into a car. Yeah, I had to look at it again and realize, oh my God, it's a plastic bag. They can play with the perceptions big time, especially when you don't, especially if it's like a blur or something that you see barely. Oh, in your head, blah, blah, blah. Create some creations. They've done that many times. This is why I have cameras on me. So when they try to manipulate me to see things in this way, I'm like, look at the reality of things. Especially if it's a video. Pictures, they can still play with pictures. But videos, oh my gosh. You look at this, like, why do I see this kid? Like, in my brain it was put in this ways. They have manipulations of perception. Especially when you don't have a clear picture of who you're seeing. Especially if it's some blur that passed by, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, they just try to mess with me to look at this kid. They're just playing my perception. I'm like, stay focused. They're doing things to mess with me. Oh, don't, please. I'm not a saint. The waitress was some, woman that served us alcohol and everything else. And I'm looking at her, like, I did feel the urge to look at this girl, this adult woman, in a sexual way. But I'm like, I'm not perfect. I've looked at women in sexual ways all the time. I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, you make me. No, I know who I am. I know who me, my imperfection, my perversions. I'm not perfect. But seeing some teenagers that walk by and they try to create some breasts, I'm like, this is so fake. It's just so obvious. This is trash. Look at these bottom feeders. And then try to really convince you that you should identify with these manipulations. It's like, I know who I am. This is why I'm wearing this camera. Because this trash, even these kids know that my brain can be manipulated to perceive things whatever they want. And they are at war. They're not at war. I'm a test subject. I was with this person here, and it's funny, with me, this psyop. And they want me to somehow see them and believe, because look at progressive, intellectual, or like feminists, like, we won't do that to women. We're different. Like, what? Do you know how crazy? Like, I'm like, do you know I know what psyop is? I've been describing you before I even met you. Why do you think so? You think because I'm a genius? Because I'm a prophet? You're exactly the psyop. You know what you're trying to counter? Is who put me in this program. I know what this program does. If you're truly standing on what you're trying to stand on, you'll not be involved in this. Look, pick a number. Those are people dying, strong women being destroyed. You involved in a program that's a woman and think that you're doing it to what storyline? It's so disturbing because the way they have rewired my brain is so disgusting. I'm with this woman in a personal, intimate way, and we do things that are intimate. My brain has been so rewired that they try to create these thoughts of an exaggerated version of what I did when I was a kid. Try to make me imagine that this woman doing these things to me is actually a child. Disturbing. To the point where it disturbs me. Like, I think if I can be strong, but it's kind of weird. The person, I mean, it looks bizarre to this person. Like, what's wrong with you? You look like you're hurting. No, it's just because in my head they're making me imagine you being a child. But I don't say that. I'm like, oh no, no, I feel uncomfortable. That's because they forced me to have these thoughts about who's doing that to me. And so after that, they're like, "Nah, we're mad. That's what happened when you were a kid." Try to exaggerate what I did as a child and try to make me imagine what this woman did to me is what this child did to me. Like disgusting. When it's falsified, the reality of what I did as a child is never going to be what they wish. They have to create these manipulations because what I did as a child is me doing something to myself. So when a woman is doing something to me, they try to make me imagine this woman is doing what they want things to have happen. And like now we match that. Trash us. But that's their job. These people work for governmental entities. I went to the elevator. I kept saying this name, Aaron Young, Aaron Young. Because they are in program where they torture children. Aaron Young, it was not even the target individual. Aaron Young is just a regular person who was a child who ended up getting killed because the target individual lost his mind and killed 18 people, inclusive of a child. And this trash have this kid's blood on them and blood of many other people, including children to babies. And I see them as that. I'd rather run away than be involved in that. They use these retards for a reason. And then this intellect becomes very, very mentally behind. You see them just tricking and doing everything possible to dumb themselves down. You have things like that in their faces, like, no, man, we're different, we live with freedom. No, you didn't. You trash us. They're here dying slowly dying. They're here frying women. Kina Jones on TRD, she's like, I'm dying. How many women are dying today in this program? And this trash involved in this program. And some of these people doing that to me have involved themselves in the torture and the slow kill of a woman. This coward low life. For me, they think that I'm just saying that to say that. Then they see me in the wild. And see, this guy is not. What happened? Like in the isolated state, is it because he sees you guys for what you guys are? Coward low life. That use test subjects that are human beings and do all these horrible things. And when things go left, most of the time, this not them going to be dying. This cowards in the bathroom in their apartments, being the cowards that they hire to be. In their sweatpants, in the PJs. Whatever hell I go through, I'd rather die in that hell than live in that paradise. And they think that they try to normalize what they're part of. Like, no, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to normalize that you're involved in a program that does these horrible things to babies, to women. I know who I am. Matter of fact, now that's you. If this is your first time involving yourself in this program, well, now you're that. In every ways, I'm trying to I know what you guys do. I know what you truly stand for. Can you imagine that these people try to rewire reality, and as she's doing these intimate things to me, it's like, oh, I'm curious, and just try to make me think, oh, this is what happened when you were a kid. This woman, I look at her and say, you're pathetic. Look how disgusting you are. You're trying to exaggerate what I did as a child. Make me imagine what you're doing to me, as if that's what's happening. That's what happened as a child. And then try to compare the mentality of a child. This person deals with children. She knows that children are just not still mentally. And it's so desperate to make me accept this manipulation when I know that she's involved in a program where children, that she is the age of the kids that she's involved with, are being tortured. Matter of fact, there's a kid, Zoe, 10 years old, asking, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody go crazy and shoot a place where there's a bunch of children? Where she got shot. Where a 14-year-old actually got killed. It's because people like that. And they try to normalize this and try to make it sound like now it's war. It's not. We're just test subject. You know that. You know what this is really about. I rather bomb and die in the street than live doing this thing. This thing here means nothing to me. I have zero attachment to this. I never loved myself as much as I love myself, but I never been myself since August 19, 2019. Manipulating nonstop. I will go somewhere, there will be the kids of the very young kids, teenage kids, babies, to try to enforce me to get stimulation. I will hear a baby cry, they'll force me to get stimulation. On my peripheral behind me, there's some kids that look like a teenage boy, I'm not sure, I get stimulations. It's nonstop. I'm talking to this teenage, somebody who looked like, I don't know if she, but something based on the perception, looked like a teenage kind of person. I'm not sure if it's true or not. And they try to create this person to have breasts or something like, and it doesn't take much. Try to give this kid like sexual, and it's kind of cold outside. So this is not a time when you like, it's like, my brain, how did you create this thought to make this kid have like sex, and it doesn't even look right. It doesn't even go together. Imagine like a teenage kid, and they try to like have like, it's like something is put together. It's like a kid who look like a kid and cleave like, and this is my mind, and this is the perception, and the cleavage that's like a cleavage of an adult woman, and try to create these things in my head. It's like this even, it doesn't even look right. It looks weird. And they try to create that in my head. Like, this is what you manipulate me. You can create these perceptions. I know. This is why I was like, I wish I had my camera on, because what I would do is what you've seen before in my channel. Talk about what they do to me, how they manipulate my brain. I'll never let them live their fantasy. And for this bottom feeders that tell me how I'm gonna be framed. Yes, trash do trashy things. Then you'll die, be a trashy thing. I'd rather die in hell, be tortured in every ways, than be in a program that does this manipulation to break down the targeted individual. This trash can even say the name of a man that picked up kids as young as 14 years old. Till my target individuals stay strong.